What are your hobbies?
Besides a sense of humor, walking, yoga, meditation, and with eyes to observe more, talk less, and listen more. Because nobody is listening to me these days except you. What is your greatest achievement? Being able to bring a smile on the face of my readers. If they laugh, we laugh together. If they don't, I won't. Who is your role model? Over time, all models change, so no one is my model except the joy of childhood, which is always found in your neighborhood, if not within you.
You have written both fiction and non fiction. Do you think there are therapeutic benefits to modeling a character after someone you know rather than creating a character from your imagination?
The characters in my mind are the ones I have created in my mind, and they are answers to me as if they are living externally. Imagining their reply, I write the answers I get from them. This is an internal dialogue between me and my characters.
You have had your fair share of books published. How did you come up with each title, and how important do you think is the title of the book to get a child pick it for a read?
I love children and I learn a lot from their personality, their likes, dislikes, gestures, mannerisms, tone, actions, vocabulary. In fact, their sum total of personality is absorbed by me in my mind, and adding a creative, humorous touch, I can make it lifeline. Example: Ramlu the rabbit in one of my stories is a creation of a small boy, baby boy, who wears a scarf and has big ears, impersonating a character of a rabbit. And the name stuck, Ramlu the rabbit. In the same way is another character, Foxy Fox.
What are the biggest cliches you want aspiring writers to avoid while writing a book?
Yes, this is a good one. I believe overthinking or overextending the thought line further and further. I believe you should see through your mindsight rather than through your eyesight.
When it comes to writing fiction for children, how difficult is it to paint and create a world that does not exist?
What do we do when we pray or meditate? Close our eyes. Yes, this is exactly the bottom line. When your eyes are open and you see realities, but when your eyes are closed, you imagine. Or, in other words, your subconscious mind leads you. My closed eyes can better picturize than the reality. Mostly at night I create my stories and early next morning I pen it down.
Which book out of all your published books did you have the hardest time writing?
My novel, Petro Doll, because it covers a long period, approximately 4.5 years, from mid 1976 to 1980. I have changed the names of the characters, but they are actually bunch of staff and friends working with me. I noted down their peculiarities, their mental attitude towards the bosses and the staff. Also, Dubai is a fast changing city. I have seen bridges coming up in just in 11 days, or overnight gardens and lawns coming up in stark desert lands. Hats off to the hard-working rulers and their local teams.
When you were writing Doll, did it transport you back to Dubai?
Yes, answer much detailed in the above question. From a population of about 200,000 people to around 9 million people in 2022, a desert from a scorching, burning land, sand, to comfortable roads, bridges, skyscrapers, air conditioned houses, and beautiful malls. And Dubai's motto is biggest, largest, highest, all expressions did. denoting the highest standards in workmanship. In a land where were only locals, Iranians, and some Asian communities, there are now more than 200 culture vulture melting points. No, not running, no running on the streets, no shouting or roadside fights, all work to rule and strict adherence to local laws. Dubai magnetizes you, just as a piece of iron is magnetized by a real magnet.
Since you have written about real life people in Petrodol, people you have met in real life, how much of a responsibility do you think that is to write their characters in a way that serves them justice?
Honestly, I believe I have written quite truthfully about the land and the people I am living with. Else, how would such drastic changes in population, place, environment take place? Which country has so successfully held Expo 2020, sent missions to Mars and outer world, and yet remained peaceful in health and wealth?
You have published a significant number of books for kids. Do you think there is a specific reason why you chose to be a children's book writer instead of teenage fiction or young adult?
Yes, children comes first. Though my fifth book, Petro Doll, is a novel for all adults, I have even more books on my mind for children as well as adults. I am thankful to God for the creative use that my writing can produce, and I wish all happy reading.
Do you think we can instill the right values in our kids through books and positively impact their upbringing?
Yes, reading maketh a man, in the words of Francis Bacon.
When you were growing up, who was the one writer that you admired the most?
Agatha Christie, Barbara Cartland, James Hurley Chase, just to name a few instead of one.
You have already published children's books and non-fiction books. Do you have plans for possibly dwelling into other genres like crime or romance? Or are you content with these genres?
Yes, crime thrillers and romantic stories are in my pipeline.
Is there a person you trust for objective and constructive criticism of your work?
My wife, of course. Can I say something else?
Children's books are the space for creativity and imagination. What children's books sparked your imagination growing up?
An Indian writer, Munshi Premchand, whose books have been made into movies like Hira Moti, About Two Cows, and many others.
What is your message to all the children around the world? One piece of advice you want them to know that you didn't know when you were a child.
It's as simple as I write, you write. My message: be good, do good. Most of my stories relate to this theme and an utter belief in yourself.